Hello?
I think that's recording.
Yeah, it's going up and down.
Hello?
Right, we can put it there.
Let's make a good start for the transcript.
Okay, we're just cracking all this out in our coffee shop. Here we are.
So, completely different to the last time.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Grand. I'm glad it's over.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How has it been during the week?
It's been amazing during the week. I had a
Yeah?
great time during the week. During the week was my favourite thing. I had loads of lovely visitors, and I had my favourite thing was Sale came in, the woman from
Yeah.
Sale. Like, I keep saying my favourite thing, but everything is my favourite thing about the installation.
Well, tell me about the women from Sale coming in.
So the women from Sale came in on Tuesday morning to work on a poem that they needed to present for, I think it was Combat Poverty.
Yeah.
And Gary, their director, had written it, but there was 4 of them going to present it. So they came in for about an hour and a half, and they were worried about how they were going to stage it or present it anyway.
Yeah.
So we worked here, we worked in the seats for a while, then we moved on to this floor, and we sat in a little circle, and we went through the text and everything. And then for the last practice, they go up on the stage.
Yeah.
And Jordan, just before that happened, a woman that I work with in Focus Ireland arrived in on her own, and so she was the audience for it, and whoever else was in at the time as well. So they practiced it on the stage, and then they went off, and apparently it went really well.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
so that was my favourite thing that happened. How's it gone? Yeah, we're just having a chat. Like,
Is it okay if we
Please do.
yeah, this is the chat. This is it. This is already, it's already started very loud.
Mid chat.
Very loud. Ah.
It's really quiet.
Yeah, so that was one of my favourite things.
And are these the same women that did this spiral?
Sale are a group that I worked with through the Abbey Outreach for the last 2 years. So we've an ongoing relationship, and the woman who came in from Focus is one of the women in the centre of the spiral, and she was delighted that Lynn placed her in the middle. Really delighted, yeah. And she came back to see the show last night with her friend and had a cup of tea just before it and everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yes, tell me about this.
Yeah. She just wanted. I was just after getting clearance, and she said, "I'll make a cup of tea," and I said, "Okay." And she said, "I'll make it. You're busy." And I said, "Well, I'm going to be sitting there in a minute, so I'll have to make it for this to work out." So I just made a tea, and then she went and sat down, watched the play with her friend.
Nice.
Yeah, steadily.
And she's part of the spiral here.
Yeah, she's part of the spiral. So this was a simple exercise I did with Focus Ireland, and I did a workshop in Dublin Youth Theatre while this was all going on. And it's just mapping the here and now. It's like the Tony Bazan mind mapping that I used in college and everything.
Nice.
And just putting your here and now on the page. So whatever's going on for you in that moment, just to clear it out and get a perspective on what you're doing, like
Yeah.
what's going on.
I was looking through it earlier. There's some really interesting stuff coming. You know, things like I really hope Russia doesn't invade Ukraine. I can see on this one right here. And nothing done, awkwardness, fighting. It's really interesting that it's kind of a wider picture and not just
that
personal.
was.
Did you find that when you were
Yeah,
when you were
yeah.
working
You
together?
really, everything that's in your consciousness and your not your, what's the opposite of that? Subconscious, comes out when you do it, because you're focused on trying to get it all on the page, and with the nice colours and everything as well. Also, it's redacted, so people's names were redacted out, the way the people's names in the Camino Diary were redacted out. So just for people that, you know, if they were listing other people that they knew that wasn't really relevant to them, just took it out.
And have other people from the spiral come to see it?
Yeah, another lady this morning came in, and we had a lovely chat for about 40 minutes. We had tea and all.
Nice.
And we looked at the lands, the Camino lands that are usually on the wall there for the installation, and we walked all the space. So generally when people come in and it's quiet, I walk them in through the spiral and back out. And Dr. Niamh Shaw was in the other day and told me that it's the mathematic 1.2, isn't it? Yeah. I've been passing on that knowledge.
I was a mechanical drawing engineer, and one of the first things you learn is how to draw that. And so if you say your first radius is 1, and then the next one is 1.2, and keep multiplying by 1.2, you end up with that. And I think we used to call it Shakespeare circle.
Shakespeare circle. It's
It
great,
comes
isn't it?
back.
Yeah. It's amazing, like. It's all connected. Yeah, so I went on little walks with people around the spiral and then back out, because we also figured out that if you walked in and back out, it made you feel good.
Yeah.
Because it's like order or something, I don't know.
Nice.
And then we'd have a little walk around the different points, and then I'd leave people to listen to stuff or interact or sit in the granny's chair or whatever.
Yeah, this is...
Oh, there you go, look at that on. Brilliant, that's the dream. So there are the Camino lands.
Yeah, can you, some of the, when I was in here earlier, some of the pieces of writing coming up on the screen were really interesting. Can you tell me about selecting those? And
They're all of them, basically. I did, the only thing I redacted in the diary was other people's business.
Yeah.
So other people's names, and when I was on the Camino, people tell you things because you're in the Camino. So I took that out. And anything that related to other people I took out of the diary, so anything else was left in. So these were all the kind of lands that came to me as I walked, so they're all up there.
Yeah.
The only thing is names again, so conversations
Yeah.
with C, I just put that there instead of.
Oh, it's great. It gives, I think, a certain sense of space when you're right up the back and looking at this. But being brought through the space by you, I thought was really interesting because everything's turned around now, but these screens are around as well. And it kind of gave us a sense of a journey through the space, because I find most of the time when I go and see these things, we don't have the tea, we don't have the we're holding hands, walking through the space. Did you have any particular experiences of that during the week of bringing people through the space?
Yeah, I wanted it to be like a Donativo albergue, so the hostels that you go to that you don't have to pay, you just give what you want. So I wanted to feel like that, and I wanted it not to feel like art. And even though it's my art dream, I didn't want it to feel like that. And I had the dream team working. So Leanne Bell was crucial to and she gave me a lovely present of that pack of notebooks. Brilliant. And loads of other presents in the space. It was lovely walking people through. It happened just naturally on Tuesday when we had the launch, which was Nairi, the brilliant producer's dream. So we had the launch on Tuesday, and it just happened naturally that I just started bringing people up and having a little walk, because I was very excited about this spiral thing. I like that, because that was inspired by a place. I was inspired by a few things. My tattoo, Spiral of Life or Universe, and the Camino, when you go up the mountain, there's a place with bronze statues, and I planted a little acorn there. And then you have this horrible climb, it's really hard towards the beginning. And then there's someone has taken the time to make something like this on this big, huge field, and it's just beautiful. And then there's a place like this at Pimlico on the way to my last home. And we did a walk there with Soraya Kenny, who did Walk with Me, Ask Questions, where this all started in like the performance part of it. So it's all those things, I suppose. Yeah. So it's really nice walking people through.
I think it also speaks to a certain sort of care in your work. I know, like previously we've been talking about In My Bed and the beginnings of this project and that kind of thing, but it seems to me that there is a care for us, for the people coming into the space. I don't know if it's intentional or if it's just something that is part of you. But I think it's something that I've seen happening again and again. Do you think?
I don't know. I think I wanted the tea and the coffee and the table like that, because that's the way it is when you go into different projects, when you're going and facilitating. And I wanted it to feel, everyone to feel welcome. I don't think there needs to be so big a gap between art and other people's lives. Like, I think we're all artists, like, or we all have the potential to be artists.
Yeah.
I went to see Swimming with my mother recently with my mother, and I had this mad experience where at the end they showed the film and I just started crying. It's very beautiful work anyway, but I started crying because I thought I want to live in a world where everyone can go and make a film about swimming with their mother if they want to. Do you know, if that's their dream or not, like if that's, everyone should be able to do that. So that's the kind of idea, and I wanted people to come in from Focus and from the other places that I've worked and feel welcome and feel that they were with me as much as they do when we're working together in their land, like in their space.
Yeah, and it uses the space as well in a way. You were talking just when we were getting started with mics and stuff about the women from Sale coming in and using the space as space and not kind of thinking, oh, installation, back off.
Yeah, that was very important. That's why the music is on there. Me like inspirational songs from Travelling and the Camino, and also the pieces of music that are in the performance part of the installation are on there as well, but they're mixed, so it doesn't all come at you at the same time. And what was the question again? What were we talking about?
Awesome question.
What were we saying?
Using the space.
So
oh yeah. Not kind of thinking of the space as like, you know, sealed off this is me.
Yeah, so I wanted it to be active. I had all sorts of ideas that were, some of them were a bridge too far as we went along. There was a lot to do, very big in here, and I'm only small. And so I had other ideas, but I think it got used very well. I think we had we had a constant flow of people in. There was a few hours every, there was a few hours all week, I think, where there was no one in. But people came in and spent a lot of time. There was one woman that came 3 days in a row and just chilled out, did our meditation herself, and different people came in and did different things. Yeah, but I think it started off on the right note for me because Sale came over. It was really important.
Yeah.
I sent Gary an email about that earlier on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like sets a tone.
Yeah, and and that people could come in and talk. But when we opened first on the Tuesday morning, we forgot that it was supposed to be like that, so we started going quiet, and then I was like, oh no, that's not what we're doing. Like, we're supposed to keep talking and be alive here, be here and now, I suppose. Yeah.
I think that makes me think loads of the performance bit that we were watching, and again thinking back across some of your other work, it seems that it's kind of moved for you from having things, so having your things, to saying your things, because that's a phrase that's coming up again and again. So it's kind of like having things, and then the having being less important and the saying being more important.
Yeah. Because the only thing you can't replace is people. You can't replace yourself. You can modify yourself and grow and all, but you can't, you have to say your things. Yeah, it's very important. And everyone needs to be able to say their things. So it's about creating an environment where everyone can say their things. So I heard a lot of things this week in this room. A lot of things. Yeah. No, I hear a lot of things generally anyway, but particularly in here. Yeah.
I think it's true though. I think at a kind of a national, in a national context as well, I think saying the things is something that's been coming up more and more lately, and being less afraid to say the things, because you mentioned the fear a few times, and I think that's a huge part of not saying the things. Yeah, and you're being bombarded all the time with reasons to be afraid when really you don't need to. Yeah, because none of it is real. It's like the thing about the money. It's not real. It's only a bit of paper. It's not actually going to feed us or clothe us or keep us warm. It doesn't mean anything. So numbers flying around.
Yeah, in the air. Yeah. I originally had them all very academic, and then I thought, no, they should be in my voice, the way I'd say them if I was saying them out loud, so I changed all the footnotes, the asterisks. Footnotes. Yeah.
Well, I think it's true, because when you said paradigm asterisks, that I was kind of thinking, how does but when it's your understanding of the words, I think it works for us in a different way, because obviously money, like so many other things, if you asked everyone in the room what their definition would be, we'd all have a version. Yeah. So I wanted room for that, and also to be honest, as honest as I could. Yeah, no, I think it's really true. I think this again, like from our conversations, the last time Veronica and I met for chats, we were in a cafe just outside Barcelona, being like hustled out by a woman who was keen to get away for the day, and we were just kind of endlessly talking. But I think one of the things that came up again and again was saying the things, and also having the space. So not necessarily having a space that's yours, but having the space more generally. And I think you've maybe been able to find that over the past few years. Definitely. Like, obviously the Camino was a huge part of that, and finishing in my bed knowing that I had nothing after that, because I left my job to do it, because at the time, it's funny, it's a strange thing I realised as well this week. When I was doing In My Bed, I thought it was ethically wrong to stay working at Roundabout Youth Theatre. I thought the two things were conflicting because of the nature of what I was going to talk about, which was probably a bit of internalised shame still going on that I didn't realise. But this time I was like delighted when people came in, and there was I didn't feel any conflict at all. I think I was very careful about how it's the reason I wrote the text, was to be very careful about what I wanted to say, and not to be appearing that I thought I was homeless, or that I thought, you know what I mean? I didn't want to make a comparison between me and someone sleeping outside in it's a nice day today, but in winter or whatever in general. So that's why I wrote the text. But really, that's what I wanted to say. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Those were really specific, and Amy Conroy worked as dramaturg, so she was very specific about very clear about what was going to happen. So that makes loads of sense. It kind of makes me, it draws me towards one of the bits of the exhibition behind the installation, the space behind this screen.
Yeah.
So I've been struck by that a few times today. And I don't know if everyone has been behind the screen that we have here, but it's part of the letter. Can you maybe talk us through that bit of the...
It's the letter that Demetrius Christolus left when he shot himself outside the Parliament in Athens in protest of the austerity measures. And I did this as a piece in work, a kind of a piece in work, a version of it in work in the Peacock. So it's me trying to rewrite the letter to try and understand what he's doing. And it's in the kind of darkness because, as I've come to conclude, and Connor's documentary concluded the same thing, in parallel but independent, that violence is not a solution. You know, there's no, and also I had a huge amount of. I was very moved by what he did. I was very moved by his action. Incredibly powerful but very sad, and there's no recovery in that. There's nowhere for There's nowhere for him to go from there. Yeah. And I think that's kind of a mindset, partly, that we've been bombarded with, that we don't have a way to get out of this, and that's not the truth. You can get up and walk right out of a city, we can do what we want, and it's also it speaks for me to when I was in active addiction. So it's kind of darkness, and when you're in there and the installation is on, everything is backwards. So it's kind of like that disconnect between the love and the addiction. And I thought a lot about that on the Camino. I thought a lot about my own addiction, and I thought a lot about other people's, other people that I was close to, and kind of concluded that there is no addict, that we're all humans, and not that I didn't have a lot of work to do, and I don't drink now, I don't take drugs now, I smoke and I drink coffee, but that that we've a lot of. We can all be boxed off all the time, and I just think there's a bigger universe out there. That's Neve Shaw knows all about. Yeah, because she's gone up there soon. She's gone to space. Yeah, it's great. First Irish woman in space. Yeah.
Yes, I like it.
So and for me, starting there was remembering that journey and feeling that journey of coming out of that darkness, coming out of the darkness with the money. I mean, not that I'm out of it, but I don't feel it. Like, I was slightly worried earlier on in the week about the mortgage this month, but it doesn't have the same impact on me as it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, at all, because it's not real.
Yeah. And it's working through as well. I mean, again, just coming back to the pieces of writing here, like writing it again and again and then writing it again. Yeah. It's really interesting to kind of think about this idea of repetition. Yeah. I find walking is really interesting for that as well. Yeah. That idea of just kind of one foot in front of the other, and again, and inevitably you get to the place. Yeah. And I think I've been reading quite a lot recently about parallels between walking and writing. Yeah. And I think it's really true. It's kind of that idea of, keeping trying, and then maybe something doesn't work out, and then moving in another direction. Yeah. And you can veer off the path and come back. You can do what you want. Yeah. And I think the Camino Diary is a really interesting example of that, because that's walking, writing, walking. Yeah, and it's mad as well. The diary is completely different to the text. It's completely different, because it's just literally your mind on the page. Yeah. There's some creative writing in it, but unedited, and yeah. And was writing on the Camino, was that kind of something that you fell into, in a day-to-day kind of way, as well, these two things are in parallel, or was it kind of reflective?
I had no intention of making any sort of work about the Camino whatsoever. I literally had no intention of making any work again after in my bed. I didn't know what was going to happen. I literally went into the unknown that time. My friend Marlene she was having the thyroid problem in her house, so she moved into my house for the time I was away, which was a great help, and for the two of us, so that worked out. And I just brought my notebook, because I write all the time, I can't stop writing, so it wasn't in any way for this. It's just, I thought I'll use that. That's a nice thing that people can read it. They can see the difference between what I'm saying in the performance or in this, and what just comes out of me. Yeah. So I wasn't intending to do it. I just always have written. I've written all the time since I was about 10.
ways of saying the things.
And also I was on my own, and I had a lot to process. Like, in my bed was a mad thing that I did, and I did it twice a night, which was even madder because I didn't know what I was making when I was programmed. And a lot of things happened in the shed. Like, a lot of things happened here, but very different things happened in the shed where people really told me a lot of stuff, and big things happened that were there's a different vibe, a different feeling to this week. So I had a lot to go through, like, to let go of as I walked. And it was also the first performance I did after we graduated.
Yeah.
Like, it was the first time, and I was on my own in a bed in a shed. It was a mad thing to do. I'd only done installations before that, like, so I had a lot to walk out of me, really. Yeah. So the first day, the Let the Dead Die thing came to me. There was a black tree it was totally dead, but was still standing, you know, when you see those trees in the field on the way up the Pyrenees. And I just saw it, and I just stopped and looked at it, and I was like, oh yeah, let the dead die. Let the dead die, they're dead now. Let them all go. Because in the shed, I had them all with me to help me. I was like, there's me granny, there's me other granny, there's me granddad, there's me friend that died, there's me other friend. Oh, great, you'll all help me now. But actually, that's not good. It's not good for me, and it's not good for them, maybe, wherever they are in the energy. So yeah, let the dead die. So this time it was like, it was me and the dream team here. It wasn't, you know what I mean, the dead people float around, they buzzing now. But it wasn't as, like, crucial to me practice or getting ready or any of that. And to me, this, like, I realised on Thursday that this was, the performance part of this wasn't really a performance. It was just about me staying in the room and saying me words. That's all it was about. Like, there was no, you know, the dance wasn't a dance. It's me staying in the love meditation. It's what I do, really. And I was only doing it if I felt like doing it. Like, if I didn't have it, I wasn't going to do it. So it's different every night. And it was just about me trying to stay here and now. And say me words, because I wrote them.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's really important. Like, it's really interesting, this idea of, you know, the words that you wrote and telling stories. And I think this idea of home is something so complex to pick apart, because I think the idea of a home place and a home space are perhaps different things. Because all of this has, you know, brought you back here to Dublin, to a project and so on.
There's no place like home.
With no place like home, but it sent you so far away. So do you think that there is something in that difference between having a home house space and having a home place, like a birthplace and so on?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think the home is really inside. So it doesn't really matter what happens outside once that's okay. And once you keep minding your mental health and looking after yourself and being connected with other people, and being connected with yourself and the universe, for me, is very important. And so, yeah, but I think I always come back. Like, I go walking the world and I always come back. Like my ideal is to have a little van, learn to drive first, obviously, and live in it for a while. And my dream is to go somewhere and work, and go somewhere else and work. But, like, there's nowhere like Ireland, really. Like, there really isn't.
Why?
Because we talk, and I know it's about saying your things, and I know we've been repressed and like all that stuff, but we do talk, like, and we don't have to say 5 sentences to say what we really think, like you do in other places in the world that I won't name. It's not my dream. So there's like, so I think we know how to communicate, and I think we've forgotten that because we had all the money, and we were like, you know, we were pretending to be something we weren't, or we were excited to try and be something else, which is no harm. We were like, oh look, we could be like LA, or we could be like this, and take away coffee, that was a great thing. It was totally different to what I grew up with, like. And then, but we lost something. We lost something inside, I think, and we're getting it back now. We're all getting it back. Yeah, it's coming back, like.
Exchange the money for the
for the love.
The love.
For the love.
Yeah. Always exchange it for the love.
Yeah.
No, I think it's.
But like, even it's a great place. It's beautiful as well, even when it's raining.
Not today. No rain today.
No, it was gorgeous. Well, I didn't see much of it, but it was good. Yeah.
I think that's interesting though about the idea of, like you were saying, like not today, been inside, but the durational aspect of this.
That was gas.
Yeah, like did it sneak up on you a little bit?
I knew it was happening, but then when you're in it, it's different. So I was literally here from 11 to 6. Nearly like I'd go out to the shop or I was sent for walks. That was the thing that Aoife said. She's part of the dream team. She was like, go for a walk out. So you go for a walk around the block. But I was here 11 to 6 from Tuesday until today. I'm still here now. I'm still going on. And then all my stuff is really there. So like I do live here. So I came in the last 2 mornings, I went and had a shower here and all, so I had to get my stuff out my bag and go up and change my clothes and all. It's really weird. And then on Wednesday I was saying to Keane, I should have just slept here. And he was like, no. The insurance and all, you know. But that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
But then I only thought that on Wednesday and it was a bridge too far, like there was enough to do. But it was really interesting. Yeah, and watching like loads of different people came in. I don't know how many. There was a good few, wasn't there? Loads, like. So, watching people in the space and, it being my space, that's something actually I learned this week. There's something, I'm trying to write the book, that's my dream. I'm writing the book and I took a break to finish this, but I was writing it during the summer when you were over and everything. And one of the things that I'm really interested in is in spatial awareness. So, you know when someone doesn't see you on the street and they walk into you, there's something really interesting about that, not seeing people and not being able to be aware of where they are and all. And you can't really get into all that in you can do it physically and you can do it a little bit, but this week I watched people or observed them while they were here and was with them. And some people are very capable of being mindful of each other, and you know, if someone is sitting in there, they wait and they go and do something else. And other people are really not like, and not aware, like it's just a lack of awareness of each other and what each person needs. So part of the process of making this and why I asked all the different people to be involved was the experiment of if we could, and I'm going to use the dream thing again because it's shorthand, but like can we all be in our dream at the same time together? Like can we all be in our individual dream at the same time? So can Owen be doing his lights and me be doing me text and be in my dream? And, you know, can Larry be in our producing dream? Can Dylan be in his dream with the music? Can John Nee be in his, you know? Can we all make our own art and be together? And we could, like, and Jose with the film and everything. So it could be a real collaboration. And for me then, that speaks to anarchy, really, because we haven't tried that properly. And, like, it's, you know, it's got a bad rep. Do you know what I mean? But, like, if everyone was looking after themselves and their needs and doing what they wanted to do, it could work, like.
Yeah. Collaboration can cause change, I think. Exactly.
And if nobody's in charge and if nobody's saying I need this, I want this, like obviously people need things at different times. I had a couple of melters this week, like, you know what I mean, and needed help, like, but you know, there's something in that's a little microcosm of that. Yeah. And it's the same watching the people interact with the space. And also for me, it was like I had a couple of moments where I felt it wasn't my space at all, but in a bad way. So I walked out a couple of times just to walk around the block, and I was like, what am I doing? And I was like, oh yeah, if like Emma Haw said this, Louis, who made the amazing photographic exhibition outside, she said this thing to me years ago that we need to always start from a place of equality. And we were chatting earlier, she came in and I was like, what I didn't realise was that I had to be part of that as well. So I was always thinking, oh, we're all from equality, but I'm less than, do you know? And so I have to be able to be in my space as well, like, do you know what I mean? So you go in and reclaim it in a nice way. It's very interesting. Had a very interesting week. I've also been here all week, so I'm slightly mad. Slightly, like, yeah.
I think it's saner than you think. this idea of collaboration and, you know, everyone being in their dream at the same time.
Connor's documentary, totally the dream, like brilliant. There's a list, it's hard to remember everything at the same time, yeah.
No, exactly this. It really threatens the idea that someone should be in control, that something should be in control.
Yeah, because it's not working. You know, it's not working. We had the English, we had the banks, we have the current government, you know, we've had the church, none of it worked. Yeah. And on the Camino you kind of feel that sense of I have enough. Shane was saying it earlier, I'm enough. Like, you have a realisation that what you have now is enough, and we're all definitely enough together, like. Yeah
absolutely,
possibly, hopefully yeah.
You were talking when we were talking before, and just now you were talking about it as well, about, because we've been following this project for a few years now.
Ages.
And so I suppose there are two kind of strands coming out of this. The first was when you were saying about like, oh, I could sleep here, I could sleep in this
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
Because an early phase of the project was to do with will you sleep rough with me? This idea of sleeping out. Did any more of that come back to you as you put this together?
The walking did, so the walk to the sea came out of that, I think, and the realisation, like, me making me circumstances worse doesn't help anyone else. So actually there was always a question over it, and it was originally going to be infringed the year before last, and me and Rasha talked about it, and she had just this niggle about it, and when we talked it out, it was like we talked about it in Make as well. It was like, whose city is it? Do I have the right to be there? If I'm on a bridge, what am I saying? Am I saying I'm homeless? Is that? It was too many. It was ethically unsound, really. It was also like logistically unfeasible, not feasible. And it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
It didn't feel right. Also, Fringe was absolute Fringe at the time, so there was a little conflict there as well. That was a smaller one than the actual conflict of me saying I was homeless when I wasn't. Because at this stage I hadn't let go of the house even. I don't think I'd even let go of the house yet. So it would have been totally bizarre, like, to do that. And it's very interesting art-wise in a way that the guy who did it in America, where he went out for a year, I learned about when I was in Make, he went out and lived in New York for a year and buried money different places, and at one stage he got arrested by mistake, and it was literally very close to the end. He hadn't been inside a building in nearly a year. And then the police arrested him, and he was like mad. He was like, please don't make me go inside, it's me project, it's me art and all. And they did, and but he just kept going then after that. But like, that's a different thing. He wasn't trying to talk about homelessness and housing and spirituality and work, and he was talking about something, I mean, he might have been talking about similar things, but me sleeping out was going to be really, really bad. It wasn't ethical. It just wasn't the right move, like.
Yeah.
So I think the walk to the sea, where we walk out into the city, where I get to let go of this phase of work in my life, where I have a few things in my pocket to throw into the sea that are other people's shit again, so I'm not gonna put them on display, and just let it go. And we'll pass, like, we'll go over Capel Street Bridge, we'll go down by the Famine Memorial, we'll pass the IFSC, the dilapidated Anglo unbuilt, all that, and then we'll get to the sea and we'll find the view.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the most positive version of me sleeping out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Because I'm not homeless. Like, I've never been short of a bed.
Yeah.
Ever, like.
Yeah. And I suppose this is very against the spirit of here and now. But can you talk about what's next, about the book? And you were saying, this isn't over, this continues, this keeps going. I'm
going to be going into Focus again in June. So that when they rang me and said, how are you fixed for June? I realised then, this isn't over. Like, even though this is over, art-wise it's over, finished, done with it. But there's loads of little things that could go elsewhere on their own, I'm thinking. But like, this whole performance and all is done, and it was kind of great, to be honest. To be leaving it, like, to be letting go, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm trying to write a book. Well, I'm not trying, because I was writing a book in the summer. I was in my dream writing it, and then I took a break from that to do this, and I'm going to be working with other people on their work for a while, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. And I think the whole minding your own personal narrative for the moment for me is over.
Yeah.
If I have something profound to say in 10 years, I'll say it, but at the moment I'm done.
Yeah, you turn outward.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to, like, being on the other side of things and helping other people live their dream and achieve their dream.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a couple of, because part of it, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And writing my book, because that is my dream.
Yeah.
And trying to learn to drive and get the little van.
Yeah.
And travelling around the place and seeing me friends from the Camino and stuff, and seeing my other friends, and I'd like to have a baby. And I'm 37, so the here and now doesn't apply to women in that regard. So, like, that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all going on.
Nice.
That's what's going on.
Staying in the dream.
Yeah.
Not into love.
Extending the dream.
Extending.
Yeah,
Dream extension.
I've had the absolute dream team. I'm really grateful to all of them.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful to you. I'm really grateful to Liam. I'm really grateful to Fringe as well. And Fringe also gave me their keys. And that was an amazing moment. So I wanted to hold their keys in my hand is for them. And because I needed to be able to rehearse and work and everything. And I'm really grateful to Nairi, and I'm going to forget people, but I'm really grateful to Dylan, to Dylan Toy, to John Nee, to Madeline Medeiros, who made a lovely piece of harp music, Pedro Vico, who made the collage, did I say Lane Bell already, who was the design mentor, and I'm really grateful to Owen Winning for the beautiful lights, Aoife O'Sullivan, who I just met on Sunday, but feel like I've known all my life, who's stage manager. I am really going to be freaked now if I don't say everyone's name. I'm really grateful to Ella Clark, who was kind enough to be the movement consultant and say it's okay if you don't do any movement, you can still say it. Who came in and unsquashed me about 2 weeks ago for 2 days because I was totally squashed. Really grateful to Conor Madden, who took the dream of watching the documentaries and talking about them all the time and made his own documentary about that. Agenda, brilliant. Jose Jimenez, amazing. We were totally in our dream. And when we did a little excerpt at Live Collision, we checked in and we never dropped below 75%. So that was very important. And that was deadly. And Louis Haw, whose rigour and attention to the project was unbelievable, and that the end result there went through about 4 incarnations, and he's really, really amazing work. Amy Conroy, who worked on the text with me and was really rigorous with that and really clear with me about, she knew the line I was trying to walk between the spirituality and the cold hard facts, but also the personal and the not personal, and so that was amazing. The Nairi, did I say Nairi already? He was absolutely amazing and made the dream happen. And Grace, obviously, but I'll leave it to the team. I've said, and Sean Cunningham did all the graphic design from Australia, so it's a real international situation we're in as well. Yeah, and everyone else.
Nice. We done?
We're done, aren't we? I'm delighted it was you. I'm delighted. That was deadly, man. That wasn't a cold show at all. Just having a chat. Just having a chat. Oh, yeah. That's all we wanted. Yeah, we have more now, Karen. Yeah. Loads more. Yeah. Delighted you came. I'm delighted you came.
Okay.
Nah.